Hello everyone, and welcome back to the Old Hunt, where we are celebrating 10 years of Bloodborne, playing version 1.00. We are here in the Chalice Dungeons. 10 years on, we are still having fun with the chalices, and, yeah, we're having fun with the scythe trap, and the enemies that throw poison knives at us, and the enemies that throw Molotov cocktails at us, and the rats that swarm us, and just all sorts of crazy things. You know what? I'm not going to climb down that ladder. I feel like that is actually a death trap. I feel like instead, I will do a plunging attack and kill the enemy. Although it looks like that Molotov cocktail got me. Anyway, where we left off, we had just opened a door that will eventually take us to a boss. Uh-oh. Get me out of this precarious situation. Okay. Ah! Thought that would kill him. Am I gonna die? No. No? It's gonna come close, but it's not quite gonna happen. We'll just heal up to get out of the danger zone. You die. You die. There we go. Okay. Alright. And I did not really get a huge amount of blood echoes. Now, part of that's just because I died so many times in the last episode, but that's okay. You know, I should have realized that the easy way to sort of run back across that ladder would be the boss door, because the way that the Chalice Dungeons are deliberately set up is that the gate that you unlock that leads to the bosses is always close to the entrance to the Chalice Dungeon out of convenience. So I'm going to go ahead. I was thinking of heading back to the Hunter's Dream to sort of restock and make sure I'm in fighting shape. Oh, I guess 1.00, it's not green that these lanterns turn from purple, it's yellow. I don't know why they made that change from one version of the game to the other, but they did, and now you've gotten to experience it. So, I'll have to edit that information sort of back into the previous episode. I don't know if I'll do it via voice or via text just yet, because I'm still in the recording mode, but that's okay. Oh, and here we go. This is important. So, before I open this is clearly just a boss door. Sometimes there are passages that are leading out of these sort of boss passages, and they are their own self-contained sections of Chalice Dungeon. First layer, the first one, they're not messing around. You go straight to the boss. But what you can see, let's get out the torch so you can see it even better. What you can see up there is the Hunter's Mark. And that's pretty significant because it shows that the Chalice Dungeons, the Underground Labyrinth, the Tomb of the Gods, this place, I don't know if we've strictly received this information just yet, but maybe we have. Anyway, if we haven't gotten it already, we're going to get it very soon, so I don't feel like it's much of a spoiler. The Chalice Dungeons are an underground labyrinth. They're underground beneath the city of Yharnam. So the fact that the Hunter's Mark can be found on the walls is a sign that the whole concept of hunters and the Hunter's Mark, and maybe those upside-down dangling corpses with the blood bags, maybe they precede what happened in Yharnam. Maybe they go back to forgotten generations down in the Chalice Dungeons. But anyway, I thought that maybe we'd have an extra side passage to explore, but like I said, they're not messing around. So I am now going to make good on my promise of heading back to the Dream to stock up on items and prepare myself to fight the boss of the first layer. So I will see you again in Dream. Alright, I definitely don't have enough for a level. I should probably... I'm in the habit of repairing my weapons because I'm used to my my Tonitrus playthrough in Translationborn. Really not as necessary when you're not using the Tonitrus to constantly keep your weapon repaired. And also when you're not using cursed gems. But, you know, we're a little bit early on for that concept. Let's see, how are we doing here? I don't care as much about bullets, so the fact that we have 62 isn't a huge bummer. I'm going to just spend everything in blood vials, get us up to 80 out of 99 in storage. And now, let's go back. Okay, so I'm going to continue to talk about this screen later on, I think. But at the moment, we just have the Chamber of the Seal, which is the initial place that we create with the ritual. And then we have the first layer, the lamp that we activated. I don't even think we had to go that far to activate it. So we're going to head back now to the first layer of the Tumuru labyrinth. All right, we are back in the Chalice dungeon, and I don't know what boss we're going to fight or how difficult it's going to be, but I don't think that amount of health is going to be super critical to our victory or defeat. I feel like also we might as well make some blood bullets, just because. I want to switch back to the Molotov cocktail since they are my greatest source of damage. I'm probably going to want to have my gun out, and here we go. Okay. Uh-oh. Ooh, I lived. I thought I was dead. Okay, we have Shitai no Kyojin, which is the corpse giant. I think the undead giant is the official translation. And this guy is really annoying. But hopefully, the fact that we're so early in the dungeon, means that we don't have as much to worry. That like super spin attack can like one-shot you in later versions of this boss. And that little growth that I popped on his leg gives that very, very slight stun, so I could get in an extra attack. Let's see. I want to mechanically take stock of this thing. 163 damage from a single Molotov cocktail. 72 and then 134. What is a full transformation set? Can I even get one? No, I can't. It would be a very risky thing to do. Uh-oh. Am I dead? Alright, I'm dead that time. Alright, we'll be back to try again soon. Oh, and one thing about the undead giants, the corpse giants, that I think is interesting to keep in mind is one of the things that Bloodborne does is it combines two different sorts of horror, one of which I think is already obvious, the other of which will become obvious in time. And at this point, the most obvious form of horror that I think we can see is it with gothic horrors and gothic monsters. So we've obviously the scourge beasts, as they're called, are sort of like werewolves of Bloodborne. And because, I mean, obviously, if you don't know that they're supposed to be called scourge beasts somewhere, you are likely to call them werewolves. I do it occasionally myself. Well, this here, this undead, this corpse giant, large, monstrous creature cobbled together out of various dead body parts, and this is the only one we've seen so far, but we will fight variations on it that have different body parts, different weapons that configure their bodies. Uh-oh. I dodged the wrong way. The undead giants are sort of one version of Bloodborne's take on Frankenstein, as we could see from the cobbled together dead bodies, dead body parts. So I think that's an interesting thing to think about. And there are, like, the big guys that we fought in the Cathedral Ward, their, like, internal name is the Healing Church Frankensteins. So it's not like these undead giants are exclusively Bloodborne's take on Frankenstein, but I do think that you can consider them one such take. And I would really like to stop taking just all sorts of damage from this thing. Should probably start focusing more on the fight. Alright, so, in terms of damage comparisons, I can reliably get in 2 hits with my saw cleaver, and then get killed by a lunge. This enemy is not making it easy for me to analyze its attack patterns. I really wish it was making it a little bit easier for me to gather information before settling on a strategy. It's going to fall. This is the thing that I like about Bloodborne, is that you can just learn from your failed attempts. So even your own death, right? You gain strength from blood echoes and the will of the fallen. Well, you also gain strength by gaining information from your own death. So you're sort of inheriting your information from your own past deaths, and you're also inheriting... Pop that a little early, maybe. But you're inheriting that information. Oh, and you're also exploring the unknown, right? You're slowly piecing together what the enemy's attack patterns are like, how much damage you can do, what its tells are, all this stuff. You're slowly building up that game mechanical knowledge. Now I know to take its slam more seriously. Alright, but as I'm sort of piecing together this strategy here, I realize this probably does not make for the most thrilling viewing. So if I am not successful on this next attempt, or whenever I manage to come up with some sort of decent strategy, I will do what I've always done in the Chalice chats and put together a montage of my deaths and then skip forward in doing so, after doing so, to my sort of final attempt. Alright, so I know I can safely get off that transformation attack and do 170 points of damage total. What are... I really wish I didn't get sort of hit by the legs as it was in the air, because I could have otherwise dodged that attack. But anyway. Yeah, 170 is pretty reliable there. And it's 2 hits. 2 regular hits. Oh, shoot. I dodged away after... What a waste. 2 regular hits is 130. So unless I can get to 3... Yeah, 3 is going to be overstaying my welcome, I think. So that's got to be it. All right, is it slam? Yep, always follows up that slam. That's sort of the like midway breakpoint HP. Did not expect the repeated slam. I'm gonna cut forward, I think. Montage time. I didn't realize you could get a visceral on this boss. I guess when you target its leg enough, you get a limb break, because it still has that growth on the other leg. Interesting. Should have done a 3-phase transformation attack. I didn't realize what was happening. Alright, it's repaired its leg. That would be bad news. Oh, the growth is either back or was never destroyed. Alright, I want to target that now. Holy smokes! What? Was it just me, or did his health bar just explode? What? What just happened? I'm gonna have to watch that back in editing. That was amazing. Anyway, I guess I didn't need a montage. That was one sequence of attacks. Interesting. But you can see how quickly my stock of blood vials has been depleted, right? I'm down 10 from just this one attempt, and probably a whole bunch more in addition. Okay, so take note of this as well. We beat the boss, we go into the next room, and then we move downwards. And now, we are on layer 2. So that is that is noteworthy. You will note that no matter what we do with the Chalice dungeons, we will continue to move downwards. And okay, there's nothing, no secret passages here. I'm going to head back to the dream, and I think I'll just finish the thought there. I'll see you again soon. Right. So crucially, Chalice dungeons are set up so that there are these underground places underneath Yharnam, and you come at them from the top layer, the first layer, and every time you beat a boss, you go down to another layer. And this is also what I wanted to show on this screen, right? We have the Chamber of the Seal from creating the dungeon, then we have the first layer, then we have the furthest point of the first layer, the depth of the first layer, the inner portion. I don't know exactly what the best translation for that is. I think the official translation is heart, which I like a lot. I think it's very thematic that the boss resides in the heart of whatever layer it is that you fight. Then you go down to the second layer, right? So it's this continual motion downwards. And you know that the whole thing is underneath the city of Yharnam. And so there's this idea that you just have level after level after level of society that's been built one on top of the other. And you can see that continuing in Yharnam, right? This is what I wanted to point out about old Yharnam, because let's exit out of here, and let's come over to this gravestone instead, the modern Yharnam gravestone. We have the former city center of Yharnam built down in the valley, and right on top of it, the current city center of Yharnam. So is history repeating itself here, or people just continuing to build up and up and up and up and up? And we have atop the ruins the new form of ruins, right? Remember, this is a town of beasts abandoned by men, burned and abandoned by men. And what do we find in the Chalice dungeons? We find a bunch of beasts that are sort of sealed off, one level on top of the other, that have been abandoned by men. People have forgotten about them. So you can leave sort of the equivalents of old Yharnam in the Chalice dungeons alone, and you can sort of see what happens. You have these halls, these catacombs that are roamed by monsters and beasts and things, and people have just forgotten about them going about their daily lives. So there's a certain extent to which you can sort of say that you can ignore the past tragedies, but then if you do, you have given up on the knowledge of what resides in those old labyrinths, and that knowledge will end up being very important. So, I don't know, in that sense, maybe I'm sort of toying with the idea of maybe coming back to the very last Chalice dungeon where the most important information can be found, even in this playthrough. But I don't know if I necessarily want to do the full Chalice dungeon dive. I don't know. We'll figure it out. We'll figure out this playthrough. Let me know what you think. I'm definitely not going to show the full process on camera, but let me know if you'd be interested in making me do all that extra work and then joining me for the final level of the final Chalice dungeon. We'll see how that pans out. But anyway, now that I'm back in the dream, I wanted to check up on my stock of blood vials. Yeah, look at that. I'm down to 43 of 99. I had just gone up to 80, I think, before. And I'm buying 3 more. Not even putting a dent in the amount of resources I lost fighting that giant. Oh, this is going to be quite a playthrough, let me tell you. I'm so glad that later versions of this game up the number to the maximum number to 600 instead of 99. Makes it a lot easier. Reflexively repairing my weapon, because why not? Oh boy, I'm really not getting enough blood echoes at this point for the difficulty of that I'm encountering in the Chalice, but eventually it's going to be a great way of farming blood echoes and getting ahead, because they sort of pace the chalice dungeons a little bit differently than they pace the main game. It's one of the sort of points of friction of Bloodborne that if you play through the main game and you ignore the chalice dungeons, you'll have a pretty smooth experience by and large. If you go into the chalice dungeons because the main game suddenly jumps in difficulty, as Gehrman suggests, you can gain a little bit of strength that way. I think mostly you gain strength from Old Yharnam, but you can gain strength from the chalices themselves, particularly if you're looking for things like gems and materials, so that's not to be completely ignored. But in terms of levels, it sort of starts out where it doesn't help out too much. It gets to the point where they sort of expect you to be doing this over multiple playthroughs, visiting dungeons over multiple playthroughs, and if you don't do it, if you do it all in one playthrough, you can get way ahead of the leveling curve for the main game. So the balance, the interface between the chalice dungeons and the main game is a little bit iffy in the current version of Bloodborne, no matter what version you're playing, including 1.00. But anyway, I don't think there's really that much else for me to do. Oh, right, I wanted to take out some Molotov cocktails from storage, because those are my premium damage items, even though I've sort of been reluctant to use them. Classic items in RPGs, even action RPGs scenario. Who wants to use up valuable consumable items when you can just attack with your weapon for free? But anyway, worked out on that last boss when its health suddenly disappeared, so I don't know, I don't feel too bad about it, but I would like to have a full stock of 10 Molotov cocktails on me before I proceed to Layer 2, and I will see you on the other side. All right, we are back. This is Layer 2. I don't think there was anything fancy. Yeah, that's right, there was nothing fancy. Also, I want to turn on my portable lantern here, so that it can shed a little bit of ambient light in these darker areas. We have the purple lights that will turn yellow in this version of the game. We have a path there, we have a path here. And this is what I mean by the sort of gameplay forward experience of exploring the unknown. Haha, I ambushed the ambusher. I love ambushing the ambusher. But this is the, this is just the process of exploring the chalice dungeons. Okay, this looks like it's going to be a room. There's probably something up above me, but at the moment, looks like there's nothing of particular note in this. Oh, hello. There are also traps in the chalice dungeons, so probably somewhere, yep, here it is, this little thing on the floor. If those statues had still been around, they would have shot a set of flaming arrows at me, and if I'd been hit, it would have been a disaster. It probably would have one-shot me. But, oh. Someone's throwing daggers at me. Oh, yeah, from up above, of course. Like I thought. Again, these rooms sort of all blend together and look similar, so I have some idea from playing other chalice dungeons a lot of what to expect from various layouts, even if I don't remember this one super well. So that's just how it goes. But yep, this is the sort of grind of the chalices, the very gameplay-focused nature, the repetitive rooms and all that, the sort of contentious setup of the chalice dungeons. I really think that, because there's some very cool stuff down here, I think maybe, if I recall correctly, there's like 10 different preset chalices. I think if instead they were like 5, or they found other ways to sort of shorten them, that might have helped the situation. Because I think part of the problem of the chalice dungeons is they just start to get old after a while, right? Until you, until and or if you sort of recalibrate your brain, like I was saying before, you don't necessarily expect them. Is there going to be a trap here? Yes, there is. See, I have some experience. I have some experience in the chalice dungeons. They have those invisible triggers that you can step on that summon enemies in rooms that are set up like that sometimes. So I knew to be wary. And once again, you get to ambush a whole bunch of ambushers. And there's probably an enemy. Yeah, there it is. Almost missed him. All right, kidnapper. Do your little interrupt attack. That won't help you because you're alone. And you're dead. I could have set up a backstab visceral, but I didn't feel like it. Why bother? The sort of bad news, I guess, is that we have We have not found the lever room. We have found the materials room. Although for me, that's an upside because I like to fully explore the chalice dungeons. I think I mentioned before I have completionist tendencies in me, so I like to do full explorations even when it isn't necessary. Also, I suppose that's worth pointing out. I was able to collect those chalice dungeon materials because the way that you progress further in the chalice dungeons is you play the chalice dungeons. By going through them, you just collect more and more materials for more and more rituals. And eventually, we will see, and this is one of the reasons why I wanted to do a sort of full chalice experience, is that you will eventually get to the point where you get other chalices. And there are some additional chalices that you can find in the main game, but as Gehrman indicates when he has his sort of introductory talk about the way chalices work in Bloodborne, the ones that are on the surface are rare. Most of the chalices are found in the chalices, sort of signifying how they've been lost to humanity. There's probably a bell ringer in there. That buildup of enemies is indicating to me that I should probably run forward. Yep, and I'm hearing the bell as well. Got to target the bell ringers early so that all the summons die in a hurry. All right. And yeah, I didn't think that there would be an invisible trigger there. That would be a little bit too much, I think. It's not impossible. I wouldn't completely put it past them, but at the same time, I would have also been surprised if I had triggered an extra ambush after all. Oh no, I hate this enemy. Oh, it's a roly-poly. Where are my Molotov cocktails? I'm gonna set you on fire from afar. Burn and die. No! No! This enemy's movement patterns are just ridiculous and unpredictable and hit you in ways that you don't expect. Haha. One more. Good. Good. Yes! Die! Get Molotoved to death. I don't regret using 4 Molotovs on that at all. I don't care if that makes it harder for me to fight a later boss. I don't care. Kill it with fire. Oh, those roly-polies. All right, and we found the switch, so we can activate the device to unlock that other door somewhere. The door has unlocked in the labyrinth, and I don't think we found the other door necessarily, but it's going to be near the main door, like I was saying before. And one of the enemies fell down, right? I want to make sure I finish him off. Where did he fall? Somewhere around here? Is he still wandering? I can hear him. I can hear him wandering. I don't know if he's directly beneath me or not. I'm going to do plunging attack just in case. All right. He was not directly beneath me, but he was close by. Oh, there was an enemy on this level before. I guess that's who threw the knife, and I just missed him. Didn't see him. Fair enough. Fair enough. But yeah, and it's not like this particular... yep, we did find the door. It's right here. Okay. It's not like this first dungeon is particularly difficult to get through. So I imagine... Look at this. There isn't even a side path before this next boss. Blah, I can't talk. Before this next boss. So I imagine we'll be able to complete this whole dungeon in maybe 1 or 2 more episodes. It seems reasonable to me. I'm running back, of course. I ran too far. But I'm running back because I would like to head back to the Dream. I need to restock those Molotov cocktails. Probably buy them. Maybe buy blood vials? Where? Oh, no. Please tell me I've not already gotten lost. It's very easy to get lost in the Chalice dungeons. Okay, good. All right, I'm going to head back to the Dream. I'm going to replenish my supplies. I think I'll just cut that out, and then I'll come back and fight a boss. Right, 2 bosses, 1 episode. This should be a piece of cake. And I opted to buy the blood vials, by the way, if anyone was curious. I bought the blood vials and replenished my Molotovs from stock. So I'm a little bit low on Molotovs. But I figure if we have another boss fight like the last one, this could be trouble. Okay, this boss, perhaps it is foolish of me, but I am not as scared of them because they consist of these enemies that I've fought before. And the room that they're in allows me to sort of separate them from one another if I am careful and know what I'm doing. Uh-oh. Great. Although now I'm recalling, normally I don't have that much of a problem getting visceral attacks off on these enemies, but come to think of it, I was having a very difficult time doing that against other versions of it. of these enemies. So maybe viscerals are not the way to go here. Maybe Molotovs are the way to go here. Ooh, and they grouped up enough that I was able to get multiple enemies in the damage of one Molotov. Hey, keep that up. I would love it if that kept happening. Yeah. Once these two are dead, the last one will not be hard. So if I exhaust my entire supply of Molotov cocktails on this, I'll be okay with it. Alright, there we go. Alright, I'm gonna be low on Molotovs, but I'm fine with that. I'm pretty sure I remember the last boss of this dungeon, and more Molotovs would not help against it, so it's fine. This boss will not switch from those ranged attacks with the dinky little... what do you call it? Dinky little lantern strikes until it gets low on HP. And it is not currently low on HP. Might get there soon. I want to have a good amount of stamina. There we go. Too early. Now that it's switched to its melee weapon, I should be able, if I can eventually time it right. Nope. Alright, I don't want to die. Nope. I was a little bit over-eager there. But I should eventually be able to parry. There we go. And get a visceral attack. And there it is. No problem at all. Look at that. First try. Absolutely right, I hunted. And here we go. It's the Tumaru all-encompassing chalice, right? It's the root chalice. And, I mean, all-encompassing is just way too long. Generic pan chalice, I think, is another way that you could translate this. That kanji there, just before the Holy Chalice one, sort of indicates all-encompassing or pan-Holy Chalice. And the reason they call it that is this is one of the root chalices, pan chalices, all-encompassing Holy Chalices, whatever your preferred translation is, that unlocks many places, many seals in the Underground Labyrinth. So let's contrast that first line with... oh, we can't do it with this one because this is the story one. Yeah, because it talks about being in the Church of the Good Chalice. There's a little bit of a formula that these chalices follow, and I've analyzed it very thoroughly in my Translation-Born series. But most chalices that you get, the very first line, if it's one of the preset story dungeons that you have to go through in the course of progressing through the many different levels of chalice dungeons, you will have the first line where it talks about breaking a labyrinth seal, like a specific one. This one, the pan chalice, the all-encompassing chalice, breaks multiple labyrinth seals, seals in various places, literally, in the Underground Labyrinth. And Holy Chalice dungeons, with their seals unlocked by means of a root chalice or pan chalice or all-encompassing Holy Chalice ritual, are change their form with every ritual, are known for changing their form with every ritual that is performed. Furthermore, Tumaru is a name of an old species that built the Underground Labyrinth. So the Tumerians that built the Tumaru section of the Tumaru chalices are sort of like another species. And let's see. They are said to have been inhuman people, Hitonaranu, right? So literally inhuman. I think the idea, if I remember correctly, the official translation is superhuman, because they are like sort of people who are not people, who possessed knowledge of the arcane, right? Who possessed knowledge of the mysteries, right? We're the Shimpi there, like holy divine mystery. It's the same thing as our arcane holy divine mystery stat. So these people are said to have a lot of knowledge about arcane mysterious things, and they're people who are better than people, right? It's this mysterious superhuman race that built the Underground Labyrinth. So there is the lost knowledge down here. And also, where are they now? What happened to them? They don't seem to be around anymore. So once again, we're seeing the loss and the repeated cycles. It ties in with the sort of everything being layered on top of one another and things being forgotten from the past that I was talking about earlier. So yeah, there we have it. And now, this is one of the things I was talking about. Remember how it says in the description, it's known for changing form every time you perform a ritual. This is the sort of online shared experience thing. You perform a ritual, it unlocks, the idea is it sort of unlocks different seals every time. So it unlocks multiple seals, and depending on what you get with each ritual, you get a different set of seals unlocked. You get different portions of the labyrinth that you're granted access to, and you can explore them. Creates this idea of exploring the unknown for the first time again for you. You then get to share that experience with your friend if you're connected to the internet. Very cool stuff. Anyway, we have our first root chalice, and we have defeated 2 bosses. There is one more layer, of course, beneath this one. So we are going to go down there. And once we get there, I think I will warp back to the dream. Oh, this is clearly coming up on the end of an episode. The only question is whether or not I warp back to the dream. But I need to warp back to the blah, 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 blah. I need to warp back to the dream no matter what to sort of replenish my resources and everything. So here we are on layer 3 very briefly. But I'm going to run through. Sometimes before you get to the lantern of a given layer, there will be an additional side passage. But again, I think probably because this is the very first Chalice dungeon, they don't necessarily want to overwhelm you. They just want to give you the general idea for how they work. We do not have a pre-lantern side path. We haven't yet found a pre-boss side path. We've only had to deal with main sections. Been making a lot of quick progress. So I'll see you back in the dream as I replenish things between episodes, and I will say my farewells there. Yeah, I've said it before, but I'm very pleased with the progress we have been making through the Chalice Dungeon, the very first one, the only one that I know I'm going to feature in this playthrough. Again, let me know if you have feelings about featuring others. And in the meantime, I'm going to call an end to my hunt for the evening. Thank you all very much for watching, and I wish you good hunting.